The transport shook like a metal cage in a storm. Inside, rows of cadets sat shoulder to shoulder, helmets locked, rifles strapped to their chests. The light inside the hull flickered red. The sound of engines pounded through the floor. Cadet Luke Armin felt the weight of it in his stomach. His first real drop. No simulations this time. Real ground, real fire. Real death waiting. Captain Mara Voigt walked down the narrow aisle between benches. Her voice cut through the noise. Eyes forward. Stay sharp. Skull Station is a live field. No drills. We take the relay and hold it until command says otherwise. You move on, my mark. Luke checked his rifle again, even though he already had. He ran a finger over the safety switch, the trigger guard, the magazine seal. His armor was still new. No scratches, no burns. It made him look like a recruit. He knew the veterans could smell that. Across from him, Cadet Lyle Jones laughed under his breath. Nervous, Armin? Luke tried to grin, but it came out tight. Just focused. Focused gets you killed slower, Jones said. The transport jolted again, throwing everyone forward.
Ow.
Red lights turned amber. They were entering the atmosphere. Outside, the surface of skulls burned with orange clouds and lightning streaks. Mountains of wreckage lay under black skies. It had been a city once. Now it was a graveyard of steel and ash. 30 seconds. The pilot shouted through the com. Voigt gripped the overhead rail. We go silent on landing. Scan patterns only. Dominion patrols are thick in the southern trench. If they catch us before the relay's online, we're done. Luke's pulse hit hard in his throat. He thought of the academy lectures about glory and duty. None of that matched the smell of oil and sweat filling the transport now. Someone was muttering a prayer. Another was adjusting their visor until the helmet hissed. 10 seconds, came the pilot again. The ramp lights changed to white. Air screamed through the vents. The noise built until it was less like sound and more like force. Drop zone live. Go, go, go. They ran through smoke and alarms into chaos. The air outside was hot and full of static. Dust covered everything. Luke hit the ground and rolled behind a broken wall. The others fanned out. The captain shouted coordinates, then gunfire. Bright plasma bursts tore the air apart. Concrete shattered. Cadet screamed and fell. Luke pressed his back against the wall and fired into the haze. He saw shapes moving through it, men in dark Dominion armor. Human faces under reflective visors. He shot again. Got one. Maybe two. Then the ground shook under a blast. He dropped flat. The explosion threw heat across his armor. His cum cracked with static. Squad Bravo, move. Get to the relay. Voigt's voice, strained, half drowned by noise. Copy, Luke shouted, but wasn't sure anyone heard. He crawled toward the relay tower, a frame of twisted metal sticking out of rubble. Sparks rained down. Another cadet, maybe Jones, ran beside him and was cut down mid-step. Luke tripped over the body and slid behind a crate. Then silence. For a second, no shots, no movement, just whined through the broken structures. He looked out and saw only flashes far off. The local radio went dead. A new voice came through, calm and cold. 10 predators deployed. Hunt begins. Luke froze. The signal was open. Every comm picked it up. He turned toward the captain's last position but saw nothing except smoke and fire. He checked the bodies nearby and alive. In the distance, a flare shot upward. A distress signal. Luke stood, scanning for survivors, and then he saw her, Captain Voigt. Halfway across the ruins, raising her weapon toward him. He almost waved, but she didn't wave back. She fired. The shot cut past Luke's shoulder and hit the wall behind him. Shards of stone struck his face mask. He dropped fast, rolled left, and sent 2 bursts toward the flash where Voigt had fired. The rounds burned through the smoke. No hit, no movement. He crawled to a better position behind a fallen transport engine. His heart beat so fast it hurt. The crack of rifle fire echoed off the walls and then faded again. The sky above glowed red-orange, full of drifting ash. Captain? He shouted into the comm. Friendly, it's Armin. No answer. Only static. He waited a few seconds before moving again. He ran low through the wreckage, past scorched metal and the shapes of bodies. Some wore Dominion armor. Some wore their own. No faces left to tell which side. The air tasted like rust. He found a broken beacon pole and climbed it enough to reach higher ground. From there, the battlefield looked worse. The entire drop zone was gone, nothing but fire shoulders and wreck. The relay tower stood about 60 meters away, flickering as it sparked. No other signs of his squad. Luke checked his ammo display. Two magazines. One half empty. He breathed slow and moved toward the tower. He stayed quiet, crouched between broken turbine shells. A noise stopped him, a long scrape on metal behind him. He swung his rifle around. Nothing. Then a shape dropped down from above, landing hard enough to shake the ground. The figure wore Dominion armor but without a unit tag. The visor glowed faint red. The rifle it carried looked custom-made, heavier than what any regular soldier could carry. Luke fired first. The shots hit the attacker's chest plate, useless. The figure moved fast, too fast, sliding right and returning fire. The beams hit near Luke's feet, molten sparks slicing up dirt and rock. Luke dove behind a generator core and tossed a grenade. The blast threw dust into the air. When he looked again, the area was empty. The attacker had vanished. He pulled back behind cover and opened his cum again. Anyone from Alpha Squad respond? I repeat, anyone. A different voice answered. Cold and low. Cadet. That's who you are, Luke said quietly. One of the predators? Number 9, the voice said. We study you before the games begin. You always hesitate before your 4th shot. Luke gritted his teeth. Try counting now. He leaned out, fired toward the sound. The rounds hit nothing. The voice gave a small laugh before cutting out. Luke slammed a new magazine into his rifle, hand shaking. Games, he said under his breath. What games? He looked around for signs of Void. The flare she launched was still smoking in the distance. Maybe she was wounded. Maybe she wasn't the one who fired. But if it wasn't her, who else had that kind of aim? He reached the last stretch of open ground before the tower. The air shimmered with heat from the relay core. He could smell melted wiring. Halfway there, he found a body face down, missing the helmet. It was Lyle Jones. The skin on his neck was burnt black. Luke crouched beside him, pulled off the ID chip, and put it in his pack. No time to stop longer. The relay tower hummed weakly when he reached it. The screen on its base flickered with old static. He pressed the activation pad. Nothing. It was already hacked. The Dominion had rerouted it to their own command. His stomach dropped. Without the relay, there was no signal to contact Central Command. No extraction. It was cut off. Then he saw something else on the cracked surface of the relay. A small etched symbol burned into the metal, a triangle over a circle. He had seen that mark once before in training briefs. It was not Dominion. It was internal. The United Earth's intel symbol used for covert human testing. He looked up fast at the sky where the dropship should have been long gone. So why was their own mark here? In the haze on the horizon, a human figure stood watching him from the edge of the ruins, rifle low, visor off. Luke lifted his weapon and froze. It was Captain Voight, and she was smiling. Luke kept the rifle aimed at her. Smoke drifted between them, torn by the wind. Captain Mara Voight stood 30 meters away, her armor scorched, her visor clipped to her belt. Her face was calm, too calm, the kind of calm a person learned after choosing a side. Drop your weapon, she called. You're out of range. You'll waste your last rounds. Luke's finger stayed on the trigger. You shot at me. I warned you to move fast. That wasn't a warning. She started walking toward him, rifle hanging low. Skulls isn't a mission anymore, Armin. It's a screen. You shouldn't even be alive right now. He lowered his aim a fraction. Where's the rest of the squad? She stopped short. Gone. You saw what they dropped us into, you knew. Her jaw tightened, but she didn't deny it. This moon is a testing ground. Command wanted results. Dominion Command wanted footage. Everyone gets what they want. His stomach turned. They set us up? The war stopped mattering a long time ago, she said. Now it's training data and population control. Predators are ours. You're saying those things, those hunters are human? Bred and trained from both sides. Half Dominion, half Earth. They were made for endurance and pain tolerance. You're lucky you've only met one of them so far. He stared at her, trying to find a reason to believe she was lying. But he saw it in her eyes. Fatigue, guilt, something close to shame. Then what happens now? Now you run. She tossed him a small data chip. If your name's on it, your brother's too? My brother's dead? Not anymore? Luke stepped back. It's a sick thing to say, it's the truth, she said. But if they hear me telling you, I'm done. She looked past him, scanning the horizon. You have about a minute before they triangulate this signal. Luke caught the chip, slid it into his wrist port, and watched a coordinate flash on his display: north sector, 50 kilometers away. The same symbol he had seen carved into the relay tower. This leads to the command post. It leads to whoever's running the hunt today. He wanted to ask more, but a sharp crack split the air. The ground near his feet exploded, throwing dirt and sparks. A sniper. Voight dove behind a wrecked drone. They're here. Luke fired back, blind, just to keep heads down. Red flashes flared from far across the ridge. Precision shots. He felt the heat skim his shoulder plate. Move, Voight shouted. Get to the tunnel line. They ran together across open ground, dodging the burning gaps. The sniper's shots followed them like pins through smoke. A second blast hit close, lifting Luke off his feet. He rolled into the tunnel entrance, gasped for air, and pulled Voight in after him. For a second they just breathed. The tunnel trembled from impacts up above. I can stop this, she said. But you'll need to get there alone. You're coming with me, Luke said. Her helmet display glowed red. She slammed a hand over it, but he saw what she saw, an override code counting down. They locked my armor, she said quietly. Luke reached for her arm. Then we'll rip it off. She shook her head. Too late, he heard the hiss before he saw it. The armor's failed safe, releasing nerve gas inside her suit. She shoved him back. Go. He tried to grab her again. She pushed him hard and fired her rifle down the tunnel, clearing a path. Her voice came through the cum one last time. Survive this, Armin. End what they started. He ran until he couldn't hear the gunfire anymore. When he looked back, the tunnel shook from an internal detonation that sealed it behind him. The display on his wrist pulsed again. The coordinates shifted closer. And beneath them, a new name lit up next to his own. Aaron Armin. The tunnel ran straight under the old ruins. Luke moved fast through the dark, guided by the blue light from his wrist display. The air smelled of oil and heat. Every footstep echoed against rusted walls. His body ached, but his head hurt worse. He couldn't push away what Voight had said. Aaron, alive, somewhere inside this place. He reached a junction. The floor was covered in dust and broken cables. He crouched low, listening. Faint voices drifted from the right passage. He crept toward the sound. Gun raised, steps silent. 2 Dominion soldiers stood near a power core, checking their scanners. Human faces. Same fear he carried hidden under his armor. They weren't hunters, just regular soldiers lost in the same storm. He almost stepped out to call them, but then he saw the mark on their sleeves, the triangle over the circle. The same one from the relay tower. He aimed before they saw him and fired once. One fell. The other shouted and reached for a sidearm, but Luke shot again. Done. Swift. No chance to ask questions. He moved forward, breathing through his teeth. The tunnels turned into narrow metal corridors wrapped in flickering light. Pipes hissed. Red alarms blinked somewhere deeper inside. He stopped at an open chamber filled with consoles. Bodies lay scattered across the floor in both Dominion and Earth armor. Screens still glowed, running scans and combat feeds. He looked closer. Each feed showed a different part of skulls, with small figures moving through ruined streets. It felt like watching a game from above. Then the wall speakers crackled. Cadet Armin, a calm voice said. Welcome below ground. Luke tightened his grip on the rifle. Who is this? A soft laugh came back. You should know my voice. He froze. The tone was different, but familiar. Slower, colder. Aaron, alive and working, the voice said. Luke's eyes burned. He told me you were gone. They sent a letter. Command said you died in a reactor collapse. They lied, Aaron said. They needed to see if I would follow orders even after the collapse. I did. Now I lead the program. Luke's chest felt tight. You're one of them. I built them, Aaron said. Biotech, targeting systems, endurance mods. We turned failure into improvement. You were supposed to die in the last round, but you broke every test parameter, so they changed the hunt. Luke shook his head. You're just another tool for them, maybe Aaron said. Or maybe I learned what winning really means. The door ahead lifted open. A tall figure stepped out wearing advanced combat armor, dark silver instead of Dominion black, helmet under his arm, face pale under harsh white light. Aaron looked almost the same as he had years ago, but something inside his eyes was gone. Too steady, too artificial. You came farther than I thought, Aaron said. 8 predators down, 2 left. After that, they end the experiment. You killed your own people for this, Luke said. I killed prototypes, same as you did, Aaron said. Don't act innocent. You survived because you learned to shoot first. Luke lifted his rifle. What happens if I kill you? Aaron smiled a little. Then you complete the test. Command proves humanity is ready to leave weakness behind. I'm not part of their game, Luke said. You always were, Aaron answered. His hand moved to his weapon. They're watching now. Decide what kind of man you'll be in front of them. Luke fired first. The round hit Aaron square in the chest, but Aaron barely moved. His armor absorbed it. Sparks flew. Aaron moved forward fast, closing the distance like a machine. Luke tried again, hit the shoulder this time, but Aaron swung his rifle like a club and knocked Luke to the floor. The impact shook his head. Aaron stood over him, breathing slow. They made us strong for a reason. Luke reached for his knife and drove it into the joint of Aaron's armor, under the arm. The blade sank deep. Aaron gasped and stumbled. Still human, Luke said, pulling himself up. Aaron looked at him, blood running down his side. Took a breath, weak, but calm. Then finish it, brother. Luke hesitated, knife raised. Aaron looked past him, toward the ceiling where the lenses of hidden cameras gleamed. They want to see what you do now, Aaron said. Luke spoke through clenched teeth. They're watching the wrong brother. He slashed the console beside them, sparks filling the air, screens going dark. As the systems burned out, a heavy metal door opened across the chamber. A single voice came through the room's main speaker. Final phase initiated, it said. 1 predator remaining. The room shook from the blast of the failing systems. Flames spread across the consoles. Smoke rolled through vents. Luke dragged Aaron away from the sparks, coughing, eyes stinging. Aaron tried to stand, but dropped to one knee. The wound under his arm bled fast. You shouldn't have destroyed it, he said. No, they'll end the test another way. Luke pressed a hand to the wound. They can't end it if we kill the control first. You don't know where it is, Aaron said. Then tell me. Aaron's face twisted in pain. Central command is below, through the core lift. 12 levels down. You'll never reach it. Watch me, Luke said. Aaron grabbed his arm. If you shut it down, the failsafe will trigger. The station will blow. You'll never make the surface. Then it ends here, Luke said. Aaron looked at him for a long second and gave a weak nod. Then finish it right. He handed Luke a small device from his belt. This will open the lift doors. You'll need it. Luke took it, then looked at his brother one last time. You could still come with me. Aaron shook his head. I belong here now. Luke turned away and ran down the corridor as the alarms grew louder. Metal groaned. The ground trembled from distant detonations. Every light turned red. Voices screamed through the comms operators, guards, command staff. Everyone knew what was coming. He reached the lift and slammed the device into the panel. Doors opened with a hiss. He stepped inside and hit the lowest level. The lift dropped fast. The walls rattled. Sparks shot from the ceiling. When it stopped, he stepped into a wide chamber lined with machinery. The air was thick with heat and smoke. At the center stood an observation platform glowing with control screens. A single figure was there, standing still. Captain Voight. She turned as he approached. No helmet. Her short hair was damp with sweat. Her face looked calmer than before. You really came down here, she said. I'm ending it, Luke said. You upload that device and you destroy the archives, she said. Billions of hours of war data. Every record of survival tactics. Every piece of progress humanity built from this chaos. It's all built on murder, Luke said. Without it, command loses control, she said. They'll tear each other apart again. We needed this structure to survive. Luke stepped closer. Then they can rebuild the right way. Voight lifted her sidearm. You can't save humanity by destroying order. He kept walking. Order built on blood isn't survival. She fired once. The bullet hit his shoulder plate and knocked him sideways. He fell hard, dropped the data core device, grabbed his rifle, and shot back. The round hit the rail near her head. Metal rang. She ducked low and rolled behind the console. I trained you too well, she shouted. You were never supposed to be the hero. Luke fired again, another short burst. The glass behind her shattered. She ran for cover, but he rushed forward and slammed her to the floor. The gun skidded away. They fought hand to hand, armor scraping, elbows and knees hitting metal. Voight pulled a knife. Luke blocked her swing and pushed her into the console. Alarms spiked. She slashed again, cutting his arm through the joint. He kicked her back and jammed the device into the main slot of the control system. It's over, he said. Voight tried to stop him, but the system locked in with a sharp tone. The lights flickered. Overhead, a voice started counting down from 60 seconds. Voight stared at him, blood on her lip. You just buried the whole moon. Then it stays buried, Luke said. He turned toward the lift, but it was already closing from automatic lockdown. He ran for an escape hatch across the chamber. Behind him, Voight crawled to a control pad and aimed one last sidearm. Her hand shook. They'll hail you as a traitor, not a hero. I don't care, Luke said. Hey! Dove through the hatch as the countdown hit 0. The explosion ripped through the chamber, blasting molten fire into the sky above skulls. Hours later, a patrol ship picked up a faint life signal drifting near orbit. Inside a half-melted escape pod lay Luke Armin, barely breathing, clutching one ID tag marked with a single name, Aaron. Behind him, skulls burned silent, and across every broadcast channel, the live feeds went black. The war's greatest show was gone, but somewhere deep in command, a single backup file loaded again. A message blinked across a dark screen. Test cycle restart pending.